Cheer up.
Okay, I think we're live. Do we need any more light?
No, because we can see the candles in the background and then it makes us all feel Christmassy, doesn't it?
Can we hear us okay? Trevor's still going. We were watching Trevor.
Yes, I didn't realise. I forgot that he does a live at 7 o'clock on a Sunday.
Well, he said he was going to do half an hour, then he was going to come and watch
So maybe
us.
maybe next week we'll have to change the time completely
Yeah,
because he offered to cancel, and I thought, no, don't do that. Don't do that. So that was really nice of him to change the time. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you all doing this evening?
Fiona too.
Smiling, I hope, especially with Harry's judgment.
Oh yeah, she's been on about it all day.
Oh my goodness.
She's been reading hundreds and hundreds of pages and giggling to herself.
I think the thing that I found the most amusing, but I haven't read the whole section of it, is the Law of Sandhurst. I think was really funny. I'll get my notes to see if I can find that one.
Yeah, why not? Hello everybody, Teresa, Samantha, Duchess Lee, Princess Carol, hiya Princess, hiya Ria, Red Squirrel. Wow, there's loads. How many is on here? 177 on here. Don't forget to hit the like, everybody.
Yes, hello, everybody. I can't remember how many pages I've got here.
I'll put your phone over this charger, isn't it? I got
Oh,
locked
yes.
out of my phone today.
Oh yes, he did.
I stupidly allowed it to go flat and put it on charge. And when I turned it on, it said puck number. And of course, I saved the puck number.
Fatal, isn't it? Fatal.
I saved the puck number. I got it in the back of the
I've
phone,
got to
so I put it in
change
thinking I'm being dead smug. And of course, no, wrong puck number. No, what? 2 attempts left, 1 attempt. So I had to pull the thing out, pull the chip out. And because I've got 2 chips, I've got one Spanish one and a Gibraltar one, so I couldn't use the phone at all unless I removed the chip. So I've removed the chip, so the Spanish one's okay. And I hate passwords and numbers, and you always forget. You always save them, and it doesn't save them. When you come to use it, it goes, "Oh, password's wrong." You think, "Oh no." So I've got to go into Gibraltar Telecom in the morning and get them to sort it out and remove the damn code. Because I hate that, it's a pay-as-you-go chip, so if someone nicks it, they can use all my credit up, which is about a tenner, and then I'll just go and get another chip. Oh, it's a pain in the backside. Even passwords, that you save on the computer, because it always gives you a gobbledygook. No, can't have that. You've got to have hyphens and colons and minus signs and you think, oh, I'll never remember that. So it said, do you want me to save the password? Yes, save it. So you go into it next time and it goes, no, it's wrong. If you've got your password. Well, they normally work for a little while, don't they? And then they just fail on you one day, just like that. Or it says, send your phone a code, and you think, well, the phone's out of order.
That's better. Suddenly felt really hot, and it's not a hot flash because I didn't have a single one in the UK.
It's really cold outside. It's 14 degrees.
It's 14 degrees, and he's lit the fire. Oh,
I've been outside with his horse to set me thermostat.
Yeah, there were a few things I didn't mention in the video today. Now, Article 10, this I find extraordinary, was an article all about how Tiggy Leg Book had asked Harry to be godfather to one of her children, which is a lovely story. So who cares if it was leaked to the press? Who cares? It was a lovely story. What's his problem?
And you said today all these complaints about things, they must have got that from phone hacking.
I know.
All these embarrassing stories that he's just confirmed that really did happen.
I know.
How did they find out? They must
Things
have
like that happened in public that everybody saw didn't really need to be leaked, did they? And there's a whole story. Well, literally, there's a newspaper story behind each one of those. The Law of Sandhurst.
Yeah, tell me about the Law of Sandhurst. I've never heard of this one.
Well, there is no such thing, is there? As Judge Fankel had to point out, there is no Law of Sandhurst. But
maybe it's an official law that only Sandhurst people know about. Yeah?
Yes, it must be, mustn't it?
And of course, they all obey it, don't they?
Yes.
Michelle's on here. Michelle Pope. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I've got to scroll back up. Your message just shot off the top. Apologies, I'm here at last. Sorry, I missed the extra live. Caught up with them. Yeah, well, no worries, Michelle, because they're there. You can watch them back anytime. Normally. Let's have a person's unfriendly tactic. That's an unfriendly tactical torch. Great little bit. I have it in the dark because you never know when the power's going to go when you're there.
Graham is.
Relic crypt.
Oh, here we
I
go.
was in the army, you know.
The law of Sandhurst. Well, yeah, Sandhurst, obviously, military academy, has its own standards and rules. Like, you shouldn't talk about anyone famous who's here, or anyone to the press. So Harry said, well, my phone must have been hacked because they wouldn't have broken that rule. And the judge pointed out, it's not actually a fucking law, Harry, okay? It's just, and people do break rules.
Guess who's here? Give me a bung.
It's possible.
You know, there's corruption
possible
everywhere at every level.
That maybe one of the officers or maybe one of the cadets, possibly think he's a bit of a wanker, said something and said, guess what? Harry doesn't have to compete. He doesn't have to do the full course.
According to Trevor, my mate Trevor, right, he said that some of the recruits are so rich that they just paid the drill instructors just to pass them and they just stayed in bed. They stayed in bed. They got a new Mercedes and a Rolex. Well, you'd have to ask Trevor because I'm sure I heard him say that. That's got to be an exaggeration, isn't it? It's got to be. No, he told it in one of his stories because I was pissing myself laughing. I thought it was really funny.
Well, it would
you
have
can just imagine it. I say, Sergeant, there's a new Mercedes. Don't just leave me in bed. I'm exhausted. I think the story was that Harry broke his knee or something like that, and so he was excused of doing some of the... You think he's broken a single bone ever? Well, getting pissed and falling off his horse, maybe. His head, maybe. Very early on in life, maybe. But no, I don't know if they said he broke his leg, but he injured his knee somehow, and so they said he didn't have to pass the assault course, and they'd pass him anyway. And so there was, this inference, oh, he's Prince Harry, so he's been let off the hook a bit. And Harry was convinced that the press found out about that through unlawful information gathering or voicemail hacking. It couldn't possibly have been other cadets who were jealous, who thought, well, hang on a minute, I had to do the complete course, or officers who thought, well, that's out of order. Why don't they wait till his knee gets better and then he can do it? No, it couldn't possibly have been any of them. And let's not forget, Harry's biggest fear is to be thought of as dim, thick, or stupid. Oh, dear. I remember Prince Charles when he was training to be a fighter pilot. Yeah, a fighter pilot, Charles. And he was actually sat in a Phantom in the F4, and it's one of the most terrifying aeroplanes ever to fly. It's even scary in the simulator in VR. And I thought, no way, he's like that. I don't remember that. I don't think I'm old enough. Obviously, the guy in the back was flying it, wasn't he? But he obviously passed the course, didn't he? Because he's Prince Charles, what he was then. He's the king. Yeah, now. I mean, a lot of them fly helicopters, don't they? Sarah Ferguson is a helicopter. Oh, Charlie could fly helicopters. And that's not that easy, is it? It takes a little bit of getting used to. I think that might be my phone. I'd best check it because it could be something about echoes. It could be an important message. It could be from Ria or somebody. I've been through the settings and I found echo cancellation. So we're just on the Mac today. Got the Mac standard camera and the standard microphone. So I was trying to be posh the other day and all professional, using. Yeah, I don't think it was Trevor's end, and no, I don't think it was. I think it was just picking up Trevor's voice and repeating it in the microphone. That's what the echo was. So we're just going with the standard microphone this time. No, I think the sound is good tonight. Very good. Did you get a message from someone? I was going to read something out to you guys because a few videos back I did a thing about what they call civil procedure, and I was showing you my book, which is quite a few years out of date, and I said there's bound to be an up-to-date version on the internet somewhere, and there is. It is at justice.gov.uk, of course. So I was reading some of that, and I'll put a link because you can read through this and then you'll see what the rules are. So I was reading 7.1. Was it 7. Oh, no, I didn't know. It was 6.2, costs on the standard basis. So this is, how they work out who's going to pay what costs. If costs are awarded on the standard basis, the court assessing costs will disallow any costs, A,
which it finds to have been unreasonably incurred, or B, which it considers to be unreasonable in amount, or C, which it considers to have been disproportionately incurred or to be disproportionate in amount, or D, about which it has doubts as to whether they were reasonably or proportionately incurred, or whether they are reasonable or proportionate in amount. So basically, they're going to look at hearings, and I'm trying to find out where we would find out about a costs hearing. I was using the Wagatha Christie as an example, you know, the Rebecca Vardy. Please don't do that, Graham. My God.
2022 was a very good year.
Please don't do that, man.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
I'd never make a barrister. I'd be like, too many words.
Have a look at the cheap wine we drink. Oh God, man.
It's a cheeky little wine.
Is it a 2020? Oh, it's a 2022.
2022. It was a good year.
Yeah, I hear 2023 was a bad year. So at least we're.
It's a bad year for me.
You've done all right, mate. Actually, you've done brilliantly.
I've not done bad.
How are you feeling?
I'm all right, actually. Yeah.
I do ask him off camera as well, but so these guys know how, you know, where you're up to.
I get tired quite quick. I'm still my usual self, but I do get tired quick, and I have to go and have a lie down for a bit. I have noticed that, but hopefully that'll. I'd
actually say you're more active now than you were before you were even ill, because you were really inactive for about 2 or 3 years.
Maybe that was because I was ill.
It could have been.
I was slowly getting iller.
Can I rephrase that? You've been really inactive for about 24 years.
Yeah, that's because I'm lazy.
You could possibly have been ill all
the thought of
that
picking
time.
up a pack and running up a hill, you know.
But no, you've been a lot more active, and I mean, I've been watching you day by day since the operation, which will have been 28 days on Tuesday. And we know that because you had to have 28 injections. And I'm the one who has to administer them, and I hate doing
injections.
it. Oh. He jumps, you know, I can't bear it sticking pins in him.
They're all preloaded and everything. You just give them a little squeeze and you can see the drop coming out the end, and she's got to stick them in me because it's anticoagulants.
Yeah.
I said to the doctor, do I really have to have that? And he went, I would if I were you.
Yes.
Seriously.
He said apparently the drop-off...
You don't want a blood clot.
Yeah, it happens at 28 days, the risk of the drop-off stops. So he said, you just keep that up. But one of your nurses had surgery, and she didn't have anybody to inject her, so she had to inject herself, and she said she hated it. She said she'd sit there for 20 minutes going, oh, no, I'll be all right in a minute, and breathe. And she had to do it 28 days in a row. She said she hated it, the agony.
I'm not ashamed to admit I'm a pussy when it comes to needles. I hate needles. Can't stand them.
You've been really brave most of the time. You haven't even flinched.
From that nurse in London.
That was the same nurse trying to stick it in the arms.
It's only a little injection, but I haven't got any different swings. I've only got this enormous one and stick it in your backside, and I jumped out of bed twice.
She said, I've never had a jumper in all these years. I've had people scream. But no, you've been very brave, and a lot of the time you say you can't feel it.
Sometimes you can't. Other times you can feel every painful moment of it digging in.
Other times he says, oh, I can see his face, and I think, oh God, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've never injected anybody with anything before in my life.
It's the first.
I couldn't believe it when they said, here's a box of needles, Mrs. Hesketh. This is what you've got to do.
Foxy's on.
Hello, Foxy.
Hi,
Shayla. And Trevor is here.
Trevor's here. Well, he was here. I've seen him earlier.
He's there. He's there. Thanks, David Murphy.
What's E?
What's E? I don't know.
E. What did I say, Trevor? Remind me. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Click on some more.
E's Scouse is short for he, I think. What did he do? Do you mean that?
Right. It's your lingo, mate.
I don't know what context that E was for.
So yes, I will read some more of that court case tomorrow. Some more of the actual story. I haven't actually seen the part where the judge said he found Omid believable. I'm sure I will find that part.
Got the king on again tonight. Look.
Well, I knew he couldn't stay away, could he? I wonder if he'd join us on a live from Sandringham.
Do you reckon he would? Him and Camilla?
In a week or two. Daily Mail have got quite a bold story out at the moment saying
the king.
All 40 people who will be joining the king for Christmas lunch, and Harry and Meghan's name's not on the list. I think that's a little presumptuous. I think they could turn up.
Are they having the carp and schnitzel for Christmas dinner?
No, they
Is
have
Kate
turkey.
cooking it?
No, he's making reference to the Windsors.
The Windsors.
They have turkey, same as us. They do all the same stuff. And this year, I want Christmas crackers.
Glinda the goods on.
Hi, Glinda. Glinda, thank you very much for sending me the link to that YouTube of Sealand. That was brilliant because I haven't really looked them up in a year. And it looks as if they have done a lot of work on the bedrooms and the kitchen and the living room. It looks like that's really making it look nice now. And they did say that it helps them tremendously when people buy titles from them, and that it's 7 miles off the UK coast. So it's definitely international waters.
It's near Trevor's house. It's if you look at it on the map, it's because Trevor's in Felixstowe. Well, he tells everybody he's in Felixstowe. It's not.
I know, you just don't.
And it's 7 miles because it's a big port. It's a big major shipping port. And during the war, as you know, the Germans came over dropping bombs. So they put all these platforms in the sea with loads of ACAT guns shooting, and they put this one further out to get the planes first, you know, to try and get them.
Right.
But it was 7 miles out, which is outside British territorial waters. So after the war, someone just moved in, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Do you know what? I was offered a job on, not that one, but they've got some in the Solent, and I think they're Napoleonic, or maybe they're Victorian.
The NAB towers, yeah. Ria will know all about them.
Yes, Ria.
I think they were made at Shoreham. They were a big tower, and they floated them into position, then slowly sank them onto the bottom. I think, but if they were Napoleonic, it'd be before that. How on earth do you build
I'm not
something
sure they are Napoleonic, but Ria will know better than
NAB
me.
towers. I'm sure they were World War One. I think because the idea was they were going to string a wire between the two, and it was going to be something to do with anti-submarine,
I think there's more than two.
I think.
And the one I was offered a job on was a Japanese guy who was turning it into a conference centre, and the only way that I would have got to work was by helicopter, and I just didn't fancy that in UK stormy, windy weather. Plus, would have had to have stayed on it for 2 weeks at a time, and I'm a bit of a crybaby, and I thought, no, I didn't really want to do that. Yes, he is feeling much better. It's really quite remarkable, your recovery. Really remarkable.
Well, I hope it's gone now.
It is. I was assured by Jonathan it's gone.
They reckon they got it all, removed it. So
yes.
I'm not going to be popping any corks just yet.
Yes, he can't do any weightlifting.
No, but it takes 6 months, they reckon.
Or lifting anything heavy at all.
To recover. I'm going to dine out on every moment of my life.
Yeah, that's going to suit you just fine, isn't it?
Well, I'm a Scouser. Scousers are reputed to be lazy bastards.
I did feel
and other things as well.
Really sorry for you at the airport because the bag was really heavy.
And I couldn't lift it.
He desperately wanted to help me.
I did actually, because I'm sort of
chivalrous.
That's the word, chivalrous.
I mean, normally,
that's why I'd never be embarrassed, so I can't think of the words.
Normally you wouldn't bother, you'd think, oh, family donkey can carry that. But I suppose because you can't.
I get guilty at the supermarket when I can't load the car and things and bring the shopping.
Well, you don't need to, Graham. I'm strong.
As Graham lost it. I've lost nothing, mate. Nothing. I'm just fine.
The only thing he's lost is a tumour.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very glad to say. And
I am very glad to say so as well.
They're absolute geniuses at that hospital. And you had the top guy in the world, but one of your surgeons was just so funny.
I know.
In a very blunt, how I was saying before, how some of these surgeons, they talk like a serial killer. And this guy really does, but he's hilarious at the same time. Don't you think? I wish we'd met him from the very beginning.
He was really fun. And they have matrons. There was a matron on the board that I was on.
Was. I think she was more
before
of a
I got
manager.
discharged, she came round, she had a purple dress on, so she could tell she was different because everyone else wore blue dresses and grey ones. And she came in, big badge matron, and I thought, oh, here we go. And I just got a questionnaire for you, Mr. Hesketh, can you? Ask you a load of questions. And I said, yeah, brilliant. Everything was brilliant. And it was, I wasn't lying. It was really
fantastic.
I couldn't knock it at all.
I particularly loved the nurse when we turned up about 6 in the evening and she said, oh, Graham, you are the man of the night. Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. But they didn't say a specific time. Graham lost his mojo. I lost mine, but Camilla is good with her horses, so she has the knack.
I'll call you later on WhatsApp, Your Majesty, okay? Me and him, we chat all the time. Yeah, but I can't say anything. I'm not allowed because he'll cut me off.
Oh, or Harry will think you've been voicemail hacking.
You've been showing favouritism to my father.
isn't it interesting that, you know, everybody says Charles is famous for not having a mobile phone, and yet there his name is in the Harry's phone hacking case. And the judge saying, I think it's really unlikely that Charles left any voicemails for anybody about something like being a godparent.
Was a tampon gate? That was
don't, Graham.
Let's not bring that up.
Well, they're just two people
Well, come on,
having a conversation, a private
we've
conversation.
all said things to each other that we would rather not share in
I
public.
hasten to add, no, we haven't. Graham and I have
Well,
never had a conversation
the royal
like that.
way, I'm sure, you know, collectively, you know, I'm sure we said things that we didn't want to
I
share.
don't think we have, mate. I
No.
really don't recall you ever saying you wanted to be a tampon,
No,
ever,
no,
or anything else for that matter.
no.
You're getting behind. on
I'm
the
getting
comments
very
again,
behind.
aren't you?
What's your tipple, Graham? CCC.
Oh, why don't you show them your cheap box again?
I'm very fine wine.
So I bought these glasses for €3 from Carol.
Rosé.
Just like my decanter, I'll show you this.
It's got a lot of nose.
Because this is why.
It's 99p from Lidl's.
I bought this for. I think I bought this for you last Christmas,
Oh yeah.
and it comes with some sort of weird shaped glasses. There, I got in this decanter, and the whole set was £60 or £70, and that's where we put the £4 bottle of whiskey in that, because
Don't drink it.
everyone, if we give them a whiskey, they go, oh, you can tell that's the good stuff. Just because it's served from an expensive decanter.
Single malt. It's the most horrible.
Same with the glasses, you know. Get away with this. You know, it looks quite fancy. Only cost £3.
It's just for
And
show.
then there's Graham putting a box of wine. Oh, have a look at that. It was made last month.
I'm a
Sticking
scouser.
it out there.
I'm not one of these stuck-up pretentious
Well,
people.
I am.
Yeah, but actually, it cost me £30,000, that bottle. I just opened it to celebrate Christmas.
Oh, unless we get onto the subject of Purdey's.
Purdeys. Oh, the shotguns, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, I
Why
always
don't
think of
you
Joanna
know-
Lumley when you say that.
Well, she was named after the gun, isn't she?
Was she?
That was the whole point. Like,
And do you know why toffs, like the King and that, have 2 shotguns? You don't just get one. Because people like me buy one shotgun. Okay, when we go clay pigeon shooting, and you open the gun and you put your cartridges in and you shut it and you go boom, boom, boom. Well, if you're a toff, right, you don't load your own gun. You hand it to the servant who loads it for you, and he holds you the passes you the one that's loaded, and you go clunk, oh, boom, boom, and you give it back to the servant, and he gives you the next one that's loaded.
Staff, Graham.
Staff, not servants. Staff.
Good gracious.
Official gun load. You got people walking
Right.
behind him.
Can you
But that's what they're paid
explain
for.
to the ladies and gentlemen, for
Yes.
those of us that don't know, the significance of a Purdey shotgun, because Prince Philip had a pair of Purdeys which he gave to Harry,
Yeah.
which I'm guessing might have been family heirlooms from Philip, and Harry apparently sold them for £50,000. That was the story in the newspaper.
Yeah, well, if you've got more money than you know what to do with, and you're wondering what to spend it on. I mean, people like me, if I was going to buy a shotgun, I'd go down to the gun shop and I'd just pick them up one at a time and I'd play with them and hold them up and find one that felt good. But if you're one of these people, you can go like Savile Row, you know, for a suit. You can go and get measured for a shotgun, and they come out with a gun with it's like a dummy gun, and
Right, like a mould.
they've got different length stocks. They can enlarge it, they can bend it a bit, they can bend it out a bit, they can make it to fit your body, and you're like this. And then they spend years engraving it, all little swirly bits. It doesn't make your shoot any better, but they charge extra, and then they just give you a horrendous bill for a pair of shotguns. And like I said, if you're really fabulously rich and you don't care, then you'll go and you'll be a victim for one of these guns.
And is Purdey the only make that's like
Oodle and Hodge is another one.
Oodle and Hodges.
Yeah, I mean, locks.
And how much would you expect to pay for a Purdey?
You can pay stupid money.
25,000? Is that extreme?
I don't know. I've never been on the list for a pair of Purdeys
Apparently
measured
the
to
guy-
size. I don't know.
The
You have to
guy
go on
who
their
bought
website.
them didn't know their heritage.
But you can buy rifles. You can buy, you know, if you go to America, you can buy custom-made hunting rifles, and they're all based on the Mauser K98, I think. You've got the same mechanism, loading mechanism, but they're all fancified, and you can have all engraving and nonsense. Why would you want engraving?
Well, some people might like that. I'd like to at least see a Purdey, you know, in real life. See what it looks like. But yes, he sold family heirlooms.
Well, why would you have a gold-plated hammer and things? Nonsense. It's just ridiculous.
Well,
I don't mind a gold.
It's traditional.
Over it,
It's traditional. You're getting behind on the comments.
People get upset if you put a scratch on their gun. I think
damn right at that price. I wish I should say.
I was in the army. They were all battered. All the guns we had, and we battered them.
Yes, I can imagine. Greetings from West Yorkshire. You're both looking well. Hope your recovery carries on apace. I have to go for a needle tomorrow. What looks like an armful of blood taken. Oh yes, I know.
Tell me about blood tests.
I know they took a lot of blood from Greg all the time.
Every 5 minutes.
Yes. He'd go from one appointment to the next. They'd go, have they done your bloods? Yes. Let's do them again anyway. And he's like that. Poor Graham. I'm fast with my injections. Well, I suppose you get used to it, don't you? Yeah. You need to go further down.
I'm sorry I'm missing some of these out because I'm getting really behind on the comments there. There you go, that's a big
Graham,
one.
You've done fantastic with Fiona's nursing care. Not sure about that, but the nurses were really good.
I've given millions of injections, yeah.
Yes.
Well, yes, you get good at it when you're doing it all the time. You know,
yes, if you're doing it all of the time.
It's the king again.
We are having a proper Christmas dinner. Yes, right. Now, I was going to give in, Your Majesty. I was going to give in this year because I bought this thing the other day in Aldi. It is a whole chicken, but there's no bone in it. And it's got its own pre-made stuffing in it. It was apples, mushrooms, and white wine. And when you cut into it, it's just pure meat, like a turkey crown, but it was chicken. And I said to Graham, that's what we're going to have on Christmas Day. Because I think Ben might be with us this Christmas.
Nice one.
And we went to Carrefour the other day and he saw the turkeys and he went, no, I want a real turkey. Oh, good grief. So I've got to, and he said, we'll be having Christmas with everybody on YouTube. So let's cook a proper turkey. Easy for you to say. So we've got this medium-sized bird in the freezer ready for the day. I thought I was going to get off light this year because it was only me and Graham. First Christmas we spent together, we sat at opposite ends of an incredibly long dining table, didn't we?
Lynn's a Scouser, but there's no way I'm lazy.
No, well, I don't think the ladies are.
Well, there's loads of Scouse jokes, isn't it?
For that matter, the footballers, because they bloody well run around.
I laugh at it. I can tell all the Scouse jokes because I am a Scouser.
I know, I wouldn't dream.
Like, why do Scousers have small steering wheels on the car? It's so you can drive with handcuffs on.
It's terrible, Graham.
And what you call a Scouser in a suit? The accused. I can get away with them, but you know.
You can get behind on the comments.
Get behind on the comments. Shut up, Graham. There we go. His Majesty's here.
We've invited them for Christmas dinner, but not Doria. She's always smashed off her tits. But would you have them in the house, King Charles, or would they have to stay in the barn somewhere and have that? We've actually got a dinner guest sort of coming on Christmas Day. There's a guy called Charles who lives. He's
always knocking the door, begging for money.
Bless him.
He's a nice guy, isn't he?
He's lovely.
Yeah.
And he comes around for a few quid once in a while. And he said he's got nowhere to go on Christmas Day. No, I have not invited him to come in and have dinner. But I said to him, you come and knock the door, Charles, and I'll have a beer and a Christmas lunch in a box and a Christmas present for you. So he's coming back. He's coming back before that. He's coming back on Friday to paint something for me. Okay. It was his idea. He said, I'll do it for free because you give me money all the time. And I said, don't be daft, I'll pay you something for it. It's quite a big job, actually. So we will have Charles. I might invite him in if the live's on so he can say hello to everybody.
No.
He's completely harmless, Graham.
He is, I like him.
Hasn't got anybody, really.
Yeah. We tried to give him a job because he speaks Spanish and English. And
he's fluent.
He's one of these beggars that goes around and he's relentless. He goes after everybody. We thought, will he be a good salesman? So we said, do you want a job? He went, no.
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. He didn't have his passport then.
Oh, was that?
He couldn't get into
it was the Polish guy on the border.
Oh,
give me a job. We said, I'll give you a job. And he goes, I don't want a job.
Yeah.
Make more money. He says,
and he's got a BMW motorbike and a mobile phone.
Which he parked a few hundred yards and pretended it was nothing to do with him. And he's
when I walked past him, I could hear him talking to his stockbroker.
On the phone. This is it in his ear. Sell!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still down there.
No, I haven't seen him for a while. There's all
I'll
kinds
stick
of
it back in
baggers
your
out
hole.
there that'll have
I
you
told your
right
proxy
over.
mum to get some skin cream.
Harry's on Duke of Sussex, look.
Okay, go check the attic and lower your sister down off the beam for a while.
Where's
Give her a break
Megan?
too.
Where's Megan?
Yeah, does nobody want to be Megan?
Where's
None of you
Camilla?
lot want to be Megan. Yeah, where's
Oh.
Camilla and Kate and William? But please don't worry if you didn't about the word Scouser. It's certainly fine, dear.
It's not a swear word, Foxy, you know.
Yes. Are you at the bottom of the comments then?
My missus got upset with me because I called her a Cockney once, and she's from Brighton. I said, "Well, you're all Cockneys in the south, aren't you?" No, we are not.
I didn't get upset. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, but your accent's the same as a Cockney, isn't it? Similar.
It's nothing like it.
All right, mate. All right, mate.
No, that's
Awesome,
real
Brighton.
bright. That's real bright. Brighton, mate. No, but they do speak slightly differently in London. Real Londoners. Do you know what? I haven't seen any pearly kings and queens in a long time.
No.
They don't even have them at Lewis anymore, I don't think.
Well, the internet came along, didn't they? They all got phased out.
Why would they get phased out because of the internet?
Well, everyone's online now. You don't need to sit there sewing buttons on.
But they do a parade in Lewis for Bonfire Night.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, last time we went there, the kids were about 1 year old, weren't they?
No, I watch it on YouTube
Hmm.
every year.
Foxy, have you ever been to Bonfire Night in Lewis?
Yes, it's fantastic.
It's scary the first time you go. You know, all the police wearing goggles and helmets, and you think, do they know something we don't?
They
Flak
didn't
jackets
always do that when I
and
was younger.
people are firing fireworks into the crowd, and you think, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Take the
It gets
children
a little-
home, shall we?
They do get a little exuberant in Lewis. Living on the high street, we used to have a party on Bonfire Night and then watch the processions from upstairs out the window, going up and down the high street. Granny Doria Toole took the kids out once and came back with loads of, and I missed the last bit.
Oh, sorry.
It's gone now. It's too late,
Well,
mate.
it's
It's buried in a
soft with the-
sea. Buried in a sea of comments.
Come on, I'm trying to keep up with the comments.
Oh, please send them back.
There you go.
Or-
I've not been to Lewis Bonfire Night before, but I've been to Bonfire Night events in the cricket ground. No, that's too civilised, Foxy. The cricket ground in Hove, I bet they're all really polite, aren't they?
Didn't know they did a bonfire there.
Sparklers and things, and they all tell polite jokes. This is Lewis. It's animals. They're all animals with bonfires, and they're really dangerous people.
Yes.
People get burnt to death.
Well, they have a lot of fun.
It's horrible.
and
It's horrible.
there have been one or two whoopsies.
They had this wheeze where they would run across the top of the bonfire.
Yeah.
And occasionally the bonfire would collapse and consume people, and they thought it was great fun.
That was, people get drunk at the end of the night and that sort of thing happens. And when I say bonfire, it's like 8 foot tall and 10 foot wide. It's not, it's not a small fire.
Archie's on.
Poor little Archie. Oh dear. I did notice today that some of those stronger sugars on YouTube, or Meghan and Harry supporters, did concede that it wasn't an entire victory. Having said that, it wasn't an entire loss either. When you think about how long ago all of this happened, I suppose it is kind of remarkable that he won on any single point, don't you think?
Yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't think he'd win on a single point, but
I'd have locked him up for having the audacity to bring the case.
well,
And his barrister.
his barrister's going to love the costs hearing, isn't he? Because that's when he gets paid.
Flame Lily. Lewis, it's called. Lewis.
Yes.
Yeah. It's near Brighton.
Lewes, Lewis.
They burned people to death in the street
Yes.
in the reign of Queen Mary.
Queen Mary, Bloody Mary.
When they were having all this kerfuffle between Catholics and Protestants, like as if it was two different religions, and all it
Yeah.
was the money went to the King of England and not to the Pope, and they were all worshipping the
isn't
same God and everything. I thought it was two completely different religions in there.
Graham.
Anyway, it turns out that they got these Protestants, and Queen Mary said, "You must become Catholics, or we're going to burn you to death in the street." And how many was there?
Six.
Six of them in the high street where she used to live.
And they were men, women, and children.
Burnt at the stake in the street.
Everyone in Lewis watched and listened to the screams, especially of the children. And that's not all. St Anne's
Well-
Church, when my dad was doing services there, they were doing a bit of renovation work on it, and they opened up one of the pillars and they found a skeleton inside. Wearing sort of old cloth like a monk or something.
Very disturbed. They have these bonfire parties
It's
where
extremely haunted,
they
Lewis.
burn an effigy of the Pope, don't they, some of them? And,
Oh, they used to do that. They used to put a Catherine wheel on the Pope's head or something. Very
there's all
disrespectful.
different bonfire groups, and they all have a parade and do their own thing.
But then each year now they
they're all
burn a
double
different.
dangerous. They're all double dangerous. Throwing
No,
really
they're not. They're
loud
just having
bangers at each
fun.
other. Well, I'm sure they're all having fun, but the hospital must be full of injured people by the end of the night.
It's not quite that bad. Greg.
It is that bad.
They
It is.
they fundraise all year long, and their fireworks displays can cost £250,000, £500,000. And there are about 6 bonfire societies, aren't there? And they all compete to see who can make the biggest explosions, the biggest display.
Brilliant idea, Charles. Right, I've got to catch up with the getting behind again.
Biscuits.
Getting behind again.
You got no biscuits.
Stories and shackles. Where will Harry be this Christmas? Do we know? Do we care? I don't know. The pool boy. Oh dear. Yeah. What about the tar barrel race? Yes. I have seen these people dressed as pirates with stripy tops and handkerchiefs around their heads, and they run with a wheelbarrow that's ablaze. I'm not joking. It's ablaze with fire, and it's like in his face as he's running along, and he just runs through the crowd. And if you don't get out of his way, he's going to hit you with a barrel full of tar. And you can't tell me that's not dangerous. That is double dangerous, and you don't want to take your kids anywhere near it. Believe me, watch it from a distance. And even then, there's no guarantee a rocket won't hit you in the head, because they're all firing them at each other across the street. The other bonfire party. And they all go up on the hillside there, and it gets even worse. Yes, it's a very... Yes, Anna Perkins says there's must be about 50 bonfire societies who have their own uniforms.
Really?
They all dress up. We send them dresses, random cleaves and things like that.
Really? What, in Lewis? They've got that many bonfire societies here. They used to have...
very anti-papist as well.
Yeah, Cliff, I think, is the oldest, isn't it?
I don't
Neville
know.
is the newest. Lamport must be fairly new.
But they go up onto that hill where
That's
there's the
Cliff.
Iron Age fort on the top.
That's only one bonfire society, Graham.
Yeah.
And we went to, I think we went to Neville when we took the kids. And they both burst into tears. They were so terrified by all the bangs and explosions that we had to leave.
Super loud bangers, the loudest bangers.
Yeah.
Like hand grenades going
And then we took them back home to the boat in Bright Marina, and there was all fireworks still going off, and then there was an exceptionally loud boom, like it hit my chest. And I said to Graham, "That's not firework, that's a bomb." And he said, "No, bollocks, it's a firework."
Where
It's
do you draw
fireworks
the line
going."
between a banger and a bomb? I mean,
Oh.
there's so much explosives.
Well, I'm
once
from-
it goes past a certain point.
Yes, well, I'm from Lewis, so I'm familiar with very loud fireworks.
Foxy's just been pointing out where Lewis is. It's if you find New Haven on the south coast, follow
Yep,
the river
head
north,
north.
and there's Lewis. It's on the river.
Anyway, Graham went outside and one of the boats had exploded.
Yeah. I thought, what? Doesn't sound like a firework. It was
With
a
a
gas
man
bottle.
last seen running away from it, going, "It's gonna blow!" And little Ben, he was tiny then, he was looking out his porthole, looking at all these flames. The boat was nowhere near us, but you could see it because it was such a big thing. And he was screaming and panicking, and he was like, the kid was proper shell-shocked by the whole bonfire night thing. He's like, "My God, how often is this going to happen?"
Your mother hated November the 5th.
My mother did, yeah. She coped with it with a couple of extra gin and tonics.
Her house got bombed in the war,
Yeah, she had shell shock.
and her grandmother was killed while she was at school. And when she came home, the house was missing. Well, the back of it was, and the whole road was covered in glass. Every single window was blown out. The Luftwaffe had dropped a bomb on. They were trying to hit the station.
She
and her
came
house
home at
was
dinner
really
time.
near the
So
station.
she knew a bomb.
Daylight, yeah.
They knew a bomb had landed, but she
She
didn't know it was her
hated
house.
bangs and fireworks ever since. She didn't
Yes.
want to go.
Anne of Cleves, I believe, did not actually live in Lewes, but yes, she did own a house there. Because apparently, this is a story I heard, she hated Henry VIII so much. And he divorced her, didn't he? And so she wanted to cost him as much money as possible. So she bought little houses all over the United Kingdom, apparently. That's what I was told by someone at Anne of Cleves' house or near there. And I've got a friend actually who used to clean there.
House. I don't think she ever went in there.
She, as an old school friend, she told me the number of times she'd seen ghosts in the Anne of Cleves' house. She said, I absolutely hate cleaning it. I hate being in there on my own at night. She said, without fail, every night. And things thrown at her and stuff.
That's not good, is it?
It wasn't just my house that was
Princess Carol
haunted.
says, got a notification from Black Belt Barrister Secret saying
Henry could have to pay costs even though he won. Absolutely. I cannot wait
find that
to
out.
hear Daniel's analysis, but give him a chance, guys, because he's a barrister. He's going to look into it a lot more deeply, thoroughly than me, and then give us, I assume, as usual, a forensic breakdown of probably a lot. I mean, there's enough material in that judgment to keep Black Belt Barrister busy for, well, till not just this Christmas, the next Christmas, and probably the Christmas after that. And I mean, it's a brilliant read. It's like reading a thriller, actually. The way the judge has written it, I can tell he's quite an entertaining and flamboyant character in his language. And I watched Lady C tonight. So I haven't had a chance to watch any YouTubers because I've been reading the judgment. Haven't seen the Royal Grift yet, haven't seen any of hers. But I watched Lady C tonight, and she was only just starting to scratch the surface of it. And I'm also thrilled to hear that the Mail, was it the Mirror newspaper, settled out of court with Lady C, which is very wise and very sensible, and still cost them, I believe, best part of £1 million for making stupid allegations against her. I remember the video she made, which was about Jeffrey Epstein and using correct terminology. And the Mirror accused Lady C of something I'm not even going to repeat. It's sickening. And she hit a roof. And she won. Again, she won. I don't think she's ever lost a lawsuit. And lawsuits, of course, are included the ones that don't make it to court past preliminary hearings. It's still a case. That was the other thing when I was reading the judgment I was surprised about, is each of these articles, the judge seemed to refer to each and every individual one as a case. Now, I don't know if he meant that's a whole lawsuit case, each article, or whether he meant in this instance, like case. Because if he was referring to each and every one of those 33 as a case in itself, then the guy has had to sit down and examine 33 lawsuits. And considering the trial ended, I think, in June, that is grease lightning. That's pretty bloody remarkable that he managed to get such a lengthy judgment out. I'm really impressed. Whether you agree with parts of the judgment or not, I am very, very impressed. And if he did say that he found Omid Scobie credible, then someone in the comments today had said, well, judges are often, they're not up on the latest. He may not have read anything about Endgame. He may not know. So I believe that could be the case. And also, in fairness to David Sherborne, it may be that he advised Harry not to put certain things in the case, but Harry had said, sod it, put it in anyway. And Sherborne's being paid, and he might have said, this could be detrimental, it could hurt your case. It could be that, because we'll never know. That's all confidential between Harry and his counsel. So we just don't know. But I mean, I still feel that David Sherborne should have said to Harry, I'm not prepared to risk my reputation by trying to apply a law that does not yet exist at that point in time. I mean, that's an oversight. That's a big slip up. A big slip up. Don't you think? What's that?
Meghan wants to be chief whip.
Chief whip. If she has thigh-high boots and a mask already.
I bet she has. And so's Harry.
And a gimp set. Probably bring out the gimp.
You're going to see Harry as a gimp, can't you?
Did you know that he was really, really in love with Chelsea and bombarded her with texts to come back to him?
No.
Yeah. I'd always.
Who knows what goes on? We can always speculate.
Well, he said. He said, how could the newspapers know that without voice?
Without intercepting it.
So he said, yeah, that is true. I'd always got the impression he had dumped her for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, the girl with the JCB that was in his book, went back to see her again, did he? He just left her in the field.
Oh, yeah, I think he was only about 15 or 16, wasn't he?
I lost my virginity as a woman.
An older woman. Oh, she was 17. He was 16. Oh, my God. An older woman. Oh, here it comes.
I've been practicing the voice.
Oh, good.
Where's JCB woman now when you need a move?
So, and someone else said in the comments.
I feel buttered.
Someone else said in the comments, if he was that unfaithful to Chelsea, well, not necessarily unfaithful, but kissing other girls, what the hell's he doing behind Meghan's back? I mean,
sorry about that, Meghan. I was stoned. I didn't know what I was thinking and doing.
I tell you what, I bet he's shit scared about getting a photographer to take a picture of him getting a private lap dance now with her. Oh, he'd never hear the end of it, would he? He definitely would be whipped, and quite right too. I would back Meghan up on that one.
He might pay her extra for that.
Yes. And I think the article about the kissing disease, although they said Harry had glandular fever, reading between the lines and the fact that William and his mates were teasing him, I don't know, I'm guessing they were referring to another type of illness, which may or may not involve kissing, may involve something a little more, I don't know, homosexual, if you know what I mean.
Right, 140k is nothing.
No, it's not. It's not. As Lady C said, it is chicken feed. And Lady C thought, she said she would be very surprised if his costs turned out to be only $1 million. She was thinking maybe 2 million. I'm willing to go out on a limb because I've no reputation to protect whatsoever. And I don't care if I turn out to be wrong to say, well, I was wrong. But I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't hit about 4 million. We're looking at a 7-week trial, guys. 7 weeks. Did you see how many of Sherborne's team were walking in behind him? About 8 or 9, carrying boxes and boxes of files. 7 weeks. Now, I know Harry's not the only claimant, but he was a large proportion of this sort of joint weird claim. And what? Meghan has... Oh, dear, I'm not reading that out. Get us off the screen now. No, I think William and his, boys, they can have a naughty sense of humour, can't they? So can girls. And there was something else I was going to say about the trial, which I've completely forgotten now. It happens more and more often, all the time. No, Granny Doria does that. She won't let me watch, though. I'm not even going to ask what. I think if M found out about H kissing another woman, she'd probably cut off his assets, yes. She's not one to be messed with, is she? And I think that's what he likes about her, isn't it? He's a bit kinky. Woo! Never come across one like this before.
I suppose if you like Harry, the last thing you want is an obedient girlfriend, isn't it?
Oh, Katie, what's her name? Hopkins made me fucking die laughing when she said, I bet Meghan's sitting there now looking over at her mentally deranged and ill patient husband going...
I never used to like Casey Hopkins.
Neither did I.
I really like her now.
I used to hate her, but I subscribe to her and I love her videos.
She's really funny. She is.
Just goes to show how mainstream media used to really set her up and make her look bad, make her look like she'd said something. I mean, she's an out there lady, but I find her so funny. I particularly like Katie's Tavern, where she sort of pretends to get drunk. I think that's hilarious. I only discovered all this in the last month.
I think he probably does get drunk.
She probably does. Sod it. Why not? Don't know.
I mean, I'm drinking
David
wine.
Sherborne could win a case where there was clear evidence of husband abuse. Who thinks he would fully win this? Are you talking about Johnny Depp, Tabitha? Because he lost that, didn't he? He was representing Johnny Depp, and he lost. Hello, Gladys. Good to see you. I love your icon. I love minions.
Welcome.
So, I mean, for David Sherborne, no wonder he read out Harry's statement with such, I don't know, vehemence and passion, because I think David himself does feel, I can sense that his own reputation is on the line over all of this. And he must be, and that's what I was going to say. Now, who was it who pointed this out? Vintage Read, right? Go and have a watch at her latest video. She does a very good forensic examination of the case, but she takes Harry out of it because she's, like I was saying, we're sort of letting skullduggerous people off the naughty step and the newspapers just because we really don't like Harry. But if you take Harry out of the equation and then you sort of look at the phone hacking and stuff like that, you get a different insight. And I would recommend going and watching her video. And what she was saying is, in her belief, the biggest mistake that the claimants made was including Harry and encouraging him to join in on it. And I 100% agree with her. They thought that by bringing Prince Harry into this, it would bring a spotlight and high profile. I don't think they realised that what it was instantly going to do was associate them with him as the villain of the piece, and that the public response would be so against them. And actually, I don't care about their parts of I haven't read them because I don't care. I'm only reading the bits about Harry. So they've got even less chance now. They've been drowned out by all the noise around Harry. And then their claims and complaints are not going to get heard. And the other thing is that from what I've read so far, and I haven't read it all, about, you know, people are saying, will the police get involved and bring a criminal prosecution? On the face of things at the moment as they stand, and criminal law is rather one of my specialities, it is, believe me, there's just not the standard of evidence there, beyond reasonable doubt. It's just, I haven't found anything yet. Perhaps when I've finished reading the entire thing, I will have seen something. But I seriously doubt it, because if there was something so strong, so hard, like a signed confession from Piers Morgan or an email from him saying, right, let's hack some phones, boys and girls, then he would have been arrested by now. The Crown Prosecution Service is going to be wholly reluctant to get into an expensive public-funded prosecution of something that they don't believe they can win, certainly not with high-profile characters like Piers Morgan. I'm sorry to disappoint the Sugars who believe that that's going to happen. It might happen. I could be wrong, and there's something in it that I haven't read yet, but I don't believe that's going to happen. I really don't, because the CPS have to pick and choose their battles, and they try and pick the ones that they feel they can win, or if they're not sure if they can win them, they choose ones that the public's really behind. And I don't think the public's going to be behind this, even with a high standard of proof. Because can you believe how low bar the civil court is? That you don't have to provide any evidence at all, just feelings.
Really?
It's all done on the basis of probability. I knew it was low, but I didn't know it was that bloody low.
So you can take someone to court because you feel they don't like you.
Yeah.
And they've been slagging you off behind your back, but you
Yeah.
can't prove it.
Yeah.
Ah, fair enough, they'll send him to prison.
They call it the balance of probabilities, which means, well, do you reckon they did it or not? Well, more likely than not, or not more likely. I mean, can you imagine? I just thank God that the standard is higher in criminal. Otherwise, the prisons, well, the entire country would be a prison with a couple of little houses for the couple of people outside.
I was watching one of those police shows in the UK, and it was like Police Interceptor or something stupid like that. But they're all being dead ardens driving around with police cars and stopping, but chasing all these evil villains who are high on drugs in a stolen car, and they're going down the wrong side of the road, endangering people's lives, and then they'll have a crash. Ooh. And then they'll run off, and they get caught in the end, and they go to court, and they go, "Hey, you got 6 months."
Right. Yeah.
And you think, well, hang on, you can say something on YouTube, and you can go to prison for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
Like Alex Belfield.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or you can have an opinion and go, oh, that's hate speech. You go to prison for 4 years.
Yeah.
And you think, well, hang on a minute, all these loons that were going around ripping people's cars off and nearly killing people, driving down the pavements and things, isn't it? And they get 6 months. Something wrong there.
I know what you're saying, but having, let's say, worked in the courts, let's put it that way, for a number of years.
Participated.
Yes, I was a participant. I was a defendant on more than one occasion. This is not lawsuits, this is criminal courts. I was a defendant on many occasions. I had a couple of trials and I was found not guilty. And they dropped everything else, which they do tend to. But after having spent 4 or 5 years in the legal system, participating, I got to see a lot. And I also got to see other people's cases, when you're hanging around on the ward list, it's nothing else to do. And each case is different. So when you hear of a case where, for example, someone's run someone over and killed them, and they get 6 months, and the newspapers say, oh, that's nothing, but look at this person, I don't know, got 12 months for not paying a TV license. When you listen to the intricacies and the details of each court case, that no two are the same. And there can be huge mitigating factors and there can be huge contributory factors. And quite often the story is not that straightforward on the face of things.
No.
And in fairness to newspapers, they've only got 1,000 words or so to squeeze everything in. So they can't really go into all the details. But usually there is a reason.
For being a troll and stalking people on the internet and making their lives a misery, I mean, you can get, like, Belfield got 5.5 years and there's another guy got 9 years. Just for being a troll on the internet. This isn't actually going out and punching anyone or nicking anyone's handbag. You know what I mean? This is actual just trolling on the internet. I know that there's no sympathy for trolls because we all hate trolls. Yeah. But I mean, a troll should go to prison for a year. There's no need to go for longer than that. Yeah. So you catch you again, you're going back for another year.
And again, it will depend. No two
Why
cases.
Give them 9 years?
No two cases would be the same. There'll be mitigating factors. And the legal system in the UK, they do take pretty much a lot of time and care. I know it's not perfect, but
Rick was a prison officer, 12 years.
Right.
Some of the sentencing absolutely baffled. Well, I mean, to be fair, unless you sit in the courtroom, you don't know the ins and outs of each case. You just get a basics.
Well, Rick is going to have a very different perspective because you're meeting the character. You're actually meeting the personality. And if you meet them and they're a really nasty bastard, horrible piece of shit, and they only got a short sentence, and you can hear them talk and you can see the way they behave, and you think they obviously pulled the wool over. Who was
that guy who got lifed up for Jill Dando murder?
Oh, Barry George. He did about 8 years.
All the screws said, "There's no way he did it."
Yeah,
not a chance. Because they knew him. They knew the guy. I mean, they didn't know for a fact, but I mean, you get a good idea, don't you?
Yeah.
When you're with people, you know whether they did it or not.
As a prison officer, you've seen the type of character that's a car thief. You've seen the many types of characters that are burglars, sex offenders, etc., etc. So you are quite experienced in identifying when you meet these characters. You know what they've been sent down for. I bet you're pretty good at assessing them. So from your point of view, you've got a real insight into it, which other members of the public don't. Where I would guess you look at some people and think, how the hell did you get away with 6 months when you should have got longer? Etc., etc. Or you might look at other people and think, I don't see why this kid got 3 months. You'll look at them.
There's so many different characters in jail, and you won't believe half the things they're in there for. And the prison population is about 80,000 in the UK, and it's not the same 80,000 either. Every day people are leaving the prison, and other day, every day more people are coming in. So there's a turnover all the time. All right, life sentence prisoners. There's I think that represent, or it did do, about 20% of the prison population.
Really, not many.
It was as many as that. But I'm going back 30 years now, so I'm not really current with it. But even life sentence prisoners, you talk to a lot of them, and a lot of them are really nice people. Others are a bit weird, and the others you think, we'll just keep away from them.
Yes, I must say, I'm glad I'm not current anymore. It's anybody out there who is, if I ever met anyone who was thinking of committing crime or getting involved with people who do, I'd just say, don't do it. Just don't bloody do it. Because once you're in that system, It's very easy to get in the system. It's a hell of it. It's like getting chewing gum out of your
Yeah.
hair, getting
You've
out.
got it, you've got it right spot on there.
Yeah, it is breeding ground for more problems. Yes.
It is.
And also, do you find that some people really don't belong in prison? They need mental treatment. And
Yes,
the prison is a dumping ground in that
mental
respect.
health patients, yeah. They just wait till they break the law and throw them in jail, and you think, well, they're still a lunatic when they're in jail, aren't they?
Well, I think lunatic's a strong word, but they've got people
They
with
used
mental
to
health
put
issues.
people with mental health issues, they used to put them in asylums, didn't they? But nowadays they just wait for them to
I think that's also very hard.
commit crime and throw them in jail.
But yeah, and then that will have
There's
a knock-on
quite a few.
effect on the prison community, and then that causes disharmony, which I would imagine in your job is the last bloody thing you want. You want everybody to get on, nice peaceful shift, nice and easy does it. I would imagine that's what every prison officer
Well,
wants.
they're all there smoking weed, and while they're all smoking weed,
Yeah.
they're not running around the landing causing trouble and giving the screws loads of.
I would definitely
weed.
encourage that if I was a police
And a lot of them
prison
turn a
officer.
blind eye to the weed. They think, well,
Yeah.
but a lot of them don't, you see, and if they've not got any weed, they're climbing the walls. Hey, boss, hang on, oh, hey, let me out. I've got a blanket to get out for some reason. And they just are putting them, pressing the button all the time. And, you think, oh, have some weed, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, but saying that, someone's just got sent to prison, 7 years. I think nurses in the hospital.
What? What for?
Yeah, because they were just going around jabbing all the people that were like troublesome.
What, to keep them quiet?
Giving them what do you call it? Like,
Ketamine.
no, sleeping medicine, to make them relax.
We got 7 years for
They
that.
were going around jabbing them and thinking, you can be jabbed. No one you shouting all night. Anyway, yeah, they got banged up. But I'll just watch it. If you go to my community page on my channel, there's a link to the judge giving the sentencing. Yeah.
There's got to be more to that
There was a
story.
few of them.
The thing is, there's just got. I mean, this is where YouTubers are great, aren't they? And they delve into the story and they explain all the details that the newspapers can't.
Well, you can see why they do it. I mean, when I was in hospital a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to say it was, but the poor guy was 90 years old. He couldn't get out of bed.
Oh, bless him.
And he just used to shout, "I want to die! I want to die!" So you can see them come along, go, "Shut up!" and give him a jab. Well, you're not allowed to do that. You go to prison.
And there was another guy, wasn't there, who was an addict, and he was so sweet. And if they didn't get his stuff in time,
he said he'd been off the gear for years, but he was on methadone.
right?
And they knew he needed the methadone. And of course, when it came meds time, there was no methadone for him, so he's there climbing the walls.
Yeah.
And he's got to have an operation, I think.
But he did come and sit with you, and he said, "I'm really sorry about that. I can't. I just can't help it."
He couldn't, well, I knew the problem. I mean, if you're on methadone, then you need it. You need it. Otherwise, you're not going to shut up, are you? You know, I mean, you have your methadone, and you're going to go to sleep, and that's the end of that. So you can see.
Actually,
you can see.
I did say last night I've never taken any illegal drugs, but it's legal, isn't it? Methadone. Well, if it's prescribed.
No, you never take methadone.
I did once.
When?
My friend was a heroin addict, and he came round to my place for a couple of drinks, and he had a bottle of it. It's liquid, and I said, "Oh, what's that then?" And I just took a swig, and he went, "Oh my God, what have you done?" I said, "Well, it can't be that bad, can it?" I mean, I was a nutter when I was young. Oh, 15.
We smoked weed in
15
Amsterdam,
minutes later, I was
Amsterdam.
puking everywhere, and then I passed out. And then when I woke up, all the doors and windows to the flat were open. There was a message on the answer phone. The light was blinking. I couldn't find my friend. I couldn't find Thomas. I pressed play and it said, "Hello, this is Sergeant Fellingham, custody suite, Hove Police Station, Fiona. We got Thomas in custody." And I thought, well, that explains where Thomas is. Where the hell is my friend Bobby gone? Oh my God. And I won't finish the story because it's too horrendous, actually. That I was unconscious throughout the whole evening's events just because I stupidly took a swig of.
Well, we went to Holland, didn't we? And we were smoking weed in the coffee shops and that. It was great, wasn't it?
And at home.
We spent 9 months on honeymoon just smoking weed until we ran out of money. It's really irresponsible, but
I imagine that's sort of where Harry is at the moment. You know, he's drug addled and he's going to wake up and he's got no money.
That's how come we've got the darling Lady Faith.
All right, Graham, don't be so. Why do you have to be so graphic, man?
But it's true.
Say things like that.
Right, I'm getting behind again with all the comments. It's coming up to it's 9:35. We've gone over an hour now and 5 minutes, so we'll start winding up. Because we tried to sort of make it an hour, didn't we? That's sort of aim for free speech. Yeah, we're talking about methadone. Was it someone talking about methadone there? Yeah, some people do evolve. Criminals evolve. They go from like car thieves smoking pot to big drug dealers and things. And for sure, you can evolve, but start somewhere. You start shoplifting and that. And some people just stop and they just go straight, and others don't. And that's just the way life is, you know. If people haven't got a job and they're skint and they're on their ass, they're going to go out and they're going to go thieving, aren't they? It's obvious. That's what's going to happen. I've got loads of friends who are ex-policemen, and they always said if they hadn't joined the police force, they would have become criminals. It's a mindset, I suppose. You know, if you're thinking about crime as a job, you got to plan it. Whereas a lot of drug addicts just need drugs until they just go and grab someone's handbag and run off.
Steve Skerritt said that
sell it enough to get a bag or whatever. I've never ever taken.
Yeah, but
never ever. I've smoked weed.
Steve Skerritt said that to me. He said if he hadn't got into the police, he'd have been a criminal. And I said to him, "You are a criminal. You got arrested and thrown out of the police force." He goes, "Oh yeah, so I am." So I said, "There you go." But he hasn't got a criminal record. They didn't take it all the way. What they did with him was...
They said, if you don't resign, you'll be fired.
Not exactly, no. They arrested him for suspicion of perverting the course of justice in another case. Nothing to do with me. But I think it might have been because he'd been all over the papers with me. And he'd been in the force 24 years. So, of course, he's owed a pension. And they wanted to get out of that. And I suppose they were thinking 24 years of a corrupt police officer, you know, we might have to open every investigation. So they said to him, we'll let you resign and you'll get your pension or something like that. And we'll drop all the charges if you sign something. And he signed the thing before they'd given him what he wanted. And then they did him over. So he ended up getting nothing in the end. And it was quite funny when we interviewed him, and at the very end he said, "Did I get in? Sussex police are fucking wankers." I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, David Murphy read about that. I didn't actually listen to the whole thing. I just got the nub of it. But yeah, I mean, you can't go.
I'll have to look that one up. It sounds just so bizarre, Patricia.
Just sedating everybody just to give you a peaceful night. it's just not on, you know. Drugs are prescribed, and that's it. I
mean, actually, they were brilliant with you because they said to you, if you're in any pain at all, let us know. And they were there like that. And the stuff they were giving you, you'd be out like a light.
Yeah,
5 minutes later.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Otherwise, you would have been screaming your head off all night, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with weed.
It was a controlled drug. This painkiller they gave me in hospital. I thought, I'm not taking that on a plane. Can you imagine taking that on a plane? And even though it's got your name on it and you've got the paperwork and the prescription, you could be there for hours, can't you, while it's checking it all out. So I just necked most of it, and then just we couldn't even throw it away, could we?
Oh,
He said to us, if you don't use it, I said, I'm not taking it out of the country, I'm not getting on an aeroplane with control. And I said, give it to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy wouldn't take it. So I finished having to pour it down the sink in the end.
Yes. The 3 chemists I went to, 3 chemists, and they said, you've got to apply to the council for a licence, can take up to a week. I think they were bullshitting.
That was those needles, the needles that you gave me.
This was the CD I had a problem with. I think they were bullshitting me. It was Boots. Firstly, the hospital pharmacy wouldn't take it. And then they said, go to Boots. I went to one Boots. They said, we can't take it. Go to another Boots. I went in there and she said, you've got to apply to the council to get a licence for them to come and collect it from you. I said, I'm not going to be here in a week. I fly out in a few hours. And she said, we have no holding facility. I thought, well, all you've got to do is leave it there till you're the duty chemist.
All I do is pour it down the sink.
She wanted me to go to some super drug in Brixton or something. And there were 3 couples behind me and they clapped and laughed. I said, are you fucking mad? It can go in a normal bin and down the sink.
Winterscow. So where are you from then? Whereabouts? I'm from Chilwell. Not the top of the hill, halfway up the hill. Not the bottom of the hill. Do you know Chilwell Church, the Abbey pub? Well Lane, just around the corner from the Abbey pub. That's where I'm from. Good place to grow up, really, you know, the 1960s and the 70s.
Yes, this Foxy, this is nearly the end of the live stream.
Yeah, we're going to wind it up. We're just last of the questions, and then because we said we'd
And we did try putting the computer down there.
I need to get the extension. I haven't got the extension.
But the thing is,
must be on the boat.
It doesn't look as Christmassy from that angle. You can't get everything.
Yankee Wally, you heard from her yesterday?
Yes, I did. Wally sent me a text message a couple of nights ago, and she is alive and well, guys. And she just wanted, and quite wisely too, to just be off the internet for a little bit and get on with her life in another manner. And I'm certain she will be back. Just had the one message from her to let everybody know she is okay. Yes, I should have said that more clearly last night, but I think then we had the echoing problem, didn't we? Which was our fault. It wasn't Trevor's fault.
We should have got someone on just to check if it's still echoing or not.
We'll have to try that on a private one and then watch it back and listen to it.
Maybe.
I haven't ordered any headphones because I was so busy writing out all these pages. Oh my God, my wrist, because I never write. I type. But I've got no printer here. And the reason I wrote it out is because I can't read the itty bitty on a mobile phone. It's just too small. I'll count the pages. "17 pages. And it did feel like writing lines out, and my arm is aching from doing that because I'm just so out of practice with handwriting, and I had to write really slowly as well. You know, like when you're learning to write, because I'm just not used to writing. I'm a typist. I will have to buy a really cheap little printer for just such occasions. You need to do a Christmas live with Yankee Wally. It would bring so many people. Well, I think she just needs some time to herself at the moment. She was just sort of letting that. It's normal, actually. This is what Wally does. She goes and is very private, and then as she's coming out of sort of internet hibernation, if you like, she sends a message, and then a couple of weeks later, she's back with a boom. Don't you worry about that.
The fitness hut, Foxy says the fitness hut is on at 9 o'clock, so we'll...
Right. Then we must not intrude. We've got to try and be careful not to step onto other YouTubers. I'll have to have a look and see, because Trevor's does a regular 7 o'clock on a Sunday.
Hi, Lady Jane. Good to see you.
Hi, Lady Jane. Oh, and also to let you all know that I have invited Wally to come and stay with us at Christmas if she wants to. That's not quite the same as being on the internet. You know, that's entirely up to her. And obviously she's got her cats, so she has to find somebody to look after the cats. So we'll see. We'll see. But she's alive and well, alive and kicking. Don't you worry about that.
Psychological profile, Venice, like she said, cops and robbers.
Graham, I did a few psychos at uni. Yes.
It's always interested me, psychological profiling. It's just something the FBI always do.
I mean, after my 4 or 5 years of participating in the justice system, shall we say, I knew most of Hove Police and probably half of Brighton CID, and I got on quite well with a lot of them, and in a manner of speaking, we were work colleagues. Do you know what I mean? If that doesn't sound too weird, almost they were like evil step-parents in a way. It was a very strange relationship, believe it or not. It wasn't so much hatred. There was definitely mutual respect and a lot of joviality on the side a lot of the time. I would love to be able to talk more openly. I may do one day when we're all dead, and I think I'll probably leave it at that.
So we'll catch you
in the meantime
tomorrow.
Yes, and I'll read some more of the court case
601,
and I'll let you know if I find anything. I'll let you know. I know. And I bet Harry watches all of this as well. I wonder if David Sherborne watches it.
Cheeky, I'm cheeky apparently.
Very cheeky.
It can be.
Right.
Depends how much you've had to drink.
You're cheeky even when you're sober.
Am I?
You couldn't pass us that.
Hey.
Couldn't get this. Couldn't do that. Do
Back,
us a
you
favour.
couldn't pass that.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about recent history. I'm talking about over the last 23, 24 years. Right. Thank you all very, very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Really
for coming
appreciate
on.
it.
I'm sorry I got so behind with the comments.
I might try showing you how terrible I am at pastry cooking tomorrow. I might try making some mince pies.
Please don't. I'll just buy some from the shop.
Oh, now I
Mr.
definitely
Kipling
want to do it.
Exceedingly good
And I'll
cakes.
make you all feel better about your cooking abilities. Believe me, because I'm worse than Wendy Craig on Butterfly. I am the worst pastry cook in the world.
Good night, and may your God go with you.